Week 8 of the fantasy football season, and he has a few wide receivers. I have his sleeper options this week. The first guy, Marquise Goodwin of the Seattle Seahawks. So last week we saw DK Metcalf go down with injury, and it looks like he's not going to be playing this week. And Marquise Goodwin, he stepped up last week. 5 targets, 4 catches, 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. This week I know he's got a tough matchup on paper versus the New York Giants. I give up the second least amount of fantasy points to wide receivers on the season. But right here, the Seattle team's a pass first team for the most part this season. And Marquise Goodwin, I know he don't get great separation if you look at the next gen stats and stuff, but he's still a speedy receiver that I think could make some plays in this one. And they're going to use him all around the field. I'm not saying to go out there and start him in basic format 12-team leagues, but if you need a sleeper option in 3 receiver leagues, 14-team leagues or deeper, I think Goodwin's a decent play this week here. And he's available still as well in 76% of fantasy leagues. The next guy is Donovan Peoples-Jones of the Cleveland Browns. I mentioned him last week as a sleeper option. And over the last couple weeks here, he's putting on numbers. Is Donovan Peoples-Jones. 9 or more fantasy points, 4 weeks in a row. Week 5 versus the Chargers, 7 targets, 4 catches, 50 yards. Week 6 versus the Pats in that one, 4 catches, 74 yards. And week 7 in Baltimore, 6 catches, 71 yards, and a fumble loss. He's getting targets, 6 or 7 a game, it seems like. He's the number 2 wide receiver over there, obviously, with Amari Cooper being number 1. But now with David Njoku out, I think we're going to see more targets go Peoples-Jones' way here. This Brown offense, we know that isn't that dynamic, and we know Brissett isn't that good of a quarterback here, but Peoples-Jones has been making plays. And this guy's your 3rd wide receiver this week here in 12-team leagues. I think is solid. And he's also available in tons of fantasy leagues right now in 76%. So right now, if you need a receiver in a pinch, I think Peoples-Jones is a decent play as a sleeper this week. And the 3rd and final wide receiver I have as a sleeper this week is Mike Thomas of the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, the news came out a few days ago that Jamar Chase is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with a hip injury.